2020 has so far been a tumultuous year around the world. The pandemic, combined with the calls for racial justice, have led to lots of reevaluation of our society and our attitudes. And now a new Ipsos poll done exclusively for Global News shows Canadian attitudes on racism have shifted. 60% of Canadians surveyed said they feel racism is a serious problem in this country. That's up 13 points over last year. Mike Drolet takes a deeper look at what the poll reveals about systemic racism.
It had to be big to push COVID-19 out of the headlines.
Black Lives Matter! Black Lives Matter!
A resounding call for societal change proved to be just that.
Are we going to keep going down this route, or are we going to come up with some innovative, humane, kind, compassionate ways of being with each other and with the earth?
In an exclusive Ipsos poll conducted for Global News, it appears Canadians are ready to listen. In fact, 63% say they support the Black Lives Matter protests. Whatever the reason, the message of equality seems to be getting through, even as the number of Canadians who say they've experienced racism firsthand continues to rise.
Having, lived with racism for 65 years, I have a lot of hope when I hear that. It didn't happen overnight, and so it's not going to go away overnight.
In fact, the Ipsos poll found that 17% of Canadians are unsure what they believe, and that they can't say they're not racist. What they are sure about is everybody else. 54% believe everyone is a little racist. And that belief system is an important element. Dexter Voisin, who wrote America the Beautiful and Violent, says racism is deeply ingrained in our psyches, whether we know it or not. For those that do, they certainly seemed ashamed. 49% say they think racist thoughts, but they'd never talk about them in public.
Sometimes the very denial of racism allows racism to continue. So very often I've had conversations with well-educated colleagues, and they'll say, yeah, racism exists, but not in our organization. So folks are apt to see racism in other spaces, but then we have blind spots when it comes to how we contribute to a system of racism.
But he too is hopeful change is on the horizon. The groundswell is too deep and vast to ignore anymore. Mike Drolet, Global News, Toronto.